Hi, good morning all. Now I am going to start about the basics of electron. So yesterday we have studied about the nature of the electron and what is the unit of electricity, all those things we have studied. Now I am going to explain the basics and important points regarding the electron. So the electrical energy engineering generally deals with the tiny particles called electrons. These are the tiny particles which are called as electrons. Okay, now these small particles require some basic important terms here, that is charge on the electron, mass of the electron and radius of the electron. So what is the charge on the electron here? That will be indicating by small e. That number is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. So what about the mass? Mass is always represented by small m and it is 9.0, or simply we can call it as 9 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. The mass is represented in kg. And what about the radius? Radius of the electron is always 1.9 into 10 to the power minus 15 meters. So here the electron is negatively charged particle which is having a negligible mass, and some of the important properties are mass, charge and radius. Now we have one ratio, that is E by M. E by M is what? It is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 and divided by mass is 9 into 10 to the power minus 31. So it will be giving the value of 1.77 into 10 to the power 11 coulombs per kg, because electron charge is represented using the units coulomb and mass in terms of kg. So it is 1.77 into 10 to the power 11 kg coulombs per kg. This means the mass of the electron is very small compared to the electron charge. So due to this property of an electron, it is very mobile and greatly influenced by the electric and magnetic fields. So this is some basic important terms which we will use in numericals also. This is about the electron. So next we can see what is the energy of an electron. Okay, whenever if you consider any of the body or any of the particle in this universe, it have some energy. So here electron is also having some of the energy. Energy of an electron. So suppose if you consider an electron which is moving around the nucleus always, okay, if it is nucleus, electron is moving around the nucleus, which possesses two kinds of energies. We all know, that is, one is kinetic energy and another one is potential energy. So potential energy, it is due to charge on the electron. Okay, and what about the charge on the nucleus? And what about the kinetic energy? The kinetic energy due to its motion. So the total sum of the kinetic energy and potential energy together, we will be call it as the energy of an electron. Understood? Okay, next we can say how the energy varies from orbit to orbit here. Okay, the energy of an electron, suppose if you consider this as a nucleus, the electrons will be flowing or moving around the nucleus. The electron which is far away from the nucleus, which have the greater energy. The electron which is having nearest distance to the nucleus, which is having the least energy, we can say. That means the electron in the second orbit can possess more energy than the electron in the first orbit. Okay, the third orbit has higher energy than the second orbit. So like this it goes on. It is clear that the electron in the last orbit, which always possesses the high energy compared to all the electrons in the inner orbits. The last orbit electrons play a very important role in determining the physical, chemical and electrical properties of the material. Okay, next we can see the concept of valence electrons. It is very important concept here, that is valence electrons. Okay, what do you mean by the valence electron? The electron which is in the outermost orbit. This is the nucleus. The electron which is in the outermost orbit of an atom are known as valence electrons. The outermost orbit can have maximum of 8 electrons. Okay, if it has have a maximum electrons of 8, the maximum number of valence electrons can be only 8. The valence electrons determine the physical, chemical properties of the materials, and also these electrons determine whether the material is metal or non-metal. Okay, it provides the metallic properties or whether the material is a non-metal, and its physical, chemical, all the properties it is going to determine. Okay, next we can say uh, three important uh, three important terms we can see here. One is conductor, another one is we can say the insulator, and third one semiconductors. Here we have the basics on the basis of the electrical conductivity, materials which are generally categorized into conductor, insulator and semiconductors. Okay, the behavior of the material from the number of valence electrons. I said the total number of valence electrons at the outermost orbit is 8. Okay, so that based on this property, the materials are subdivided into conductor, insulator and semiconductors. So how it is going to decide? Suppose when the valence electrons of an atom is less than 4, that is half of the maximum of 8 electrons, the material usually a metal or a conductor. Examples: sodium, okay, magnesium, aluminium are the examples for this, and 1, 2, 3 valence electrons respectively these materials will have. And what about the insulator? If the valence electrons are more than 4, then the material is usually a non-metal or insulator. For example, we can say the sulfur, nitrogen and neon, which have insulating properties. And what about the semiconductor? If the valence electrons of an atom is exactly equal to 4, that means exactly half of the maximum 8 electrons, okay, then those metals, those particle or those material will does not exhibit the metal or non-metal properties. Okay, those usually are semiconductors. Those are carbon, silicon and germanium. This is about the valence electrons. So in today's class what we have discussed, the electron which has the charge, mass and radius of the electron we have discussed, and energy of an electron which has kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is due to the motion of the electron, and potential energy due to its nucleus charge. And the outermost orbit of an electron have a highest energy than the innermost innermost electron energy. And valence electrons, if you consider, this will provide maximum 8 electrons at the outermost orbit, and which will decide the property of the material, whether it is metal or non-metal, and physical chemical properties of the material also it will decide. The valence electron is nothing but what here, the outermost orbit of an atom is known as valence electrons. Based on this, we can distinguish the material as a conductor, insulator, and semiconductor. Conductor property is that which have a valence electrons less than 4. Insulator have the valence electrons more than 4, and semiconductor which have exactly equal to half of the total number of outermost orbit electrons. So this is about the today's class. So in the next class we will discuss about the free electrons and electric current, how does it will goes or conduct in a electron. Thank you.